I want to share how one mildly skilled freelancer is able to consistently get hired on very attainable jobs. When I was starting over 10 years ago, I didn't know if it was just simply possible to say, I got a camera, maybe have some lights, and I can pay all of my bills. I can pay my rent, I can pay for my car, I can pay for anything life is throwing at me just with a camera. I didn't know if that was like completely possible or easy to do. And now that I'm in basically coasting mode, I'm very comfortable. I wanted to share some of the ways that I've gotten here. Now, I'm not at a very high level for commercial work or for large crews, but maybe that's in the future. For now, it's working out really well. And so I just want to share the building blocks that I use to be able to get clients hiring me, contacting me, and consistently get work. Because I know when I was starting out, that was probably the thing I was most intimidated about is what if I don't get enough clients? What if I don't have consistency? What do I do? I would have to get a normal job. Well, that is just not in the cards for me. I won't do it. I'm not built for it. I'll never be at an office. This is what I like to do. So I got some notes. If you've seen any of my vlogs, all of these jobs I'm talking about have been cataloged in these vlogs. So this past year, I've worked for Wall Street Journal, ESPN, Mini Cooper, TD Bank, and then a ton of small to mid-size agencies. And I want to share how each one of those people hired me, got my info. This is the same thing that I talk about in my consultation calls, where we get to kind of do a deep dive on what is your marketing, how are you attracting business. The only difference between what I'm going to say here is I'm going to give a general overview, and then in the consultation calls, we work directly with your exact situation. So the first two reasons are active marketing and your passive marketing. So with active marketing, that's the stuff that I'm putting out there to generate leads or to spark interest. The very foundational level is just having a website or social media, mix of both, and you're real. Now, each one of those individually does not bring any clients. What happens is when you do get the inquiry or you do get someone who is considering hiring you, they usually funnel through one of those pathways. And if you don't have that pathway set, then they either don't feel confident enough or they start looking for other people who do have these in place. And it's part of the ladder that a lot of people climb to hiring you. So I know in the Dallas chat that I have with Jared Phelps, someone recently asked, is a production company required to have a reel? Once you get into production company versus freelancer, you start needing different types of marketing. And that alone is super important to consider. Are you a freelancer or are you a production company? Do you bring in crew? Are you a full service agency or do you do one role like me? I'm a DP. I do one-man band stuff, single roles on another person's crew. And that self-identity will clear up so much of the communication that you have with your clients and how you're able to market yourself. That would be your active marketing. And I think all three of those, website, social media, reel, are going to be beneficial. And then you go into your passive marketing. So with passive marketing, it's so amazing as a freelancer to wake up, open up your emails and see someone messaging you saying, we have this project, we'd like to hire you. Because it feels like, oh, this is just a gift. It just came my way. But in actuality, what you did is you set that up by putting your info, making a profile on job listing sites. My favorite is Production Hub. There's also Upwork, which is 99% trash, but you will find things every now and then if you keep looking. One of my best clients to date, I found on there, and it was a mismatch because I was like, "You're such a high-paying, nice client. What are you doing on Upwork?" Well, they had a shoot in Florida, and whoever they had hired canceled because 2 days before shooting, they put out a call on all these websites and said, "We need a DP, half day, one man band, camera, lights, audio," and it was 600 for a half day. And that was the first time I had been like, "Oh, that's much higher than I'm used to charging." So these are the things you're expecting, and that's what ultimately created my $1,200 day rate. Right now, it's moving up a little bit organically, but I would never have expected that that would have come from Upwork, because normally Upwork is a lot of, "Hey, can you film for 3 hours, make 4 YouTube videos? We got a $200 budget." So you got to crawl through a lot of those to find something worth it. But also, if you are starting, that's the type of work you want to get. You want to get people who are paying you. So there's a couple other ones that are popular, but Production Hub is where I find most of the quality jobs, and you have to pay a monthly subscription, but for the $700 month, sorry, $700 yearly subscription, you make that back on your first job, and then anything after that is profit. So I like Production Hub because it seems like it's a lot of agencies on there, either looking for single crew members, one man band guys, or they will say, "We're coming to Florida. We would love to get camera, sound, and a PA." And they find me, and then I can bring in the crew that I trust, that are dependable. And it's kind of like I become a faux production company. I'm the one sourcing all these people together, and that has paid off. I think I've done it for 2 years. That has paid off, you know, 10 times over what the initial yearly payment is. And like I said, you're outreaching over here, and then you're getting inbound requests from Production Hub. I actually just got one yesterday. Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful request. If you don't bother with the lower priced monthly plans, you have to use tokens and all that stuff. Don't do that. Just pay for the higher price one, because you get put to the top of the search page results, and you get to contact these people immediately. It's just a much better system. So this one looks awesome. Looking for a solo videographer in Tampa, September 16 to 20. I'm in Orlando. I'm an hour and a half away. This is 5 days of work for a documentary style shoot. And they're basically going to be doing a bunch of interviews, sit down interviews, and B-roll. One camera, no lights. This is the style that they want, and then capture the character hanging out in their workplaces. They need just a camera and the DP with a tripod and a lavalier, no lights, no crew, and then 4K log 10-bit 422, which any camera can do now. And then they'll be accompanied by someone from the research team. It's usually a producer and or a company rep. Those are the jobs I love, because you have someone who's corralling the whole day, saying, "We're going here, and then we're going here, and we're going there." And then you have the creative individual who's like, "I'm just focused on making this look and sound as clean and beautiful as possible." And then the actual structure of the shoot is taken care of by that person. So this is exactly the type of job that I would take. I just wish I wasn't booked this day. And then there is another one that I got. This one was just a private message. So by having my profile up there, it shows what gear I have, what examples of my work looks like, and then where I'm located. So a lot of times people will not put up the job listing like the one I just said. What they'll do is they'll comb through manually. and they'll find the people that they like, and then they'll message out directly to them. Those ones have a really high level of closing because basically they already picked you. This one's cool. It says, are you still working in the Orlando area and looking for freelance work? We're looking for a videographer with a Sony FS7, FX6, FX9, or equivalent, or using our in-house camera package to freelance for us with the potential for part-time or full-time. I don't want part-time or full-time, but I will take the freelance work. And the way this always works is when you have someone who comes here, or anyone. Let's say you don't even crush the shoot, but you satisfy the results. You satisfy the needs, and you get good results. If you were nice to work with, dependable, paying attention, not on your phone, like a lot of times I am, then you are not a hurdle in the chain of getting things done. And they love to bring people back in like that. So much of my work comes from, oh, I worked with them once, and now why would they go anywhere else? We're getting results. It gets a little dicey when you're a freelancer and you say, yeah, I'd love to do it, but I'm booked that day. And then they have to look for someone else. That happens all the time, and then they find someone else and everything works good with them and they just keep going down that train. That's what freelancing is. And that's also how I've been able to jump into other people's positions because they weren't available and I was. Let's say I didn't have a lot of work that week or I was able to move things around. I will always value a new network connection. Extremely important when you're trying to build your clientele and keep yourself in the mix. Okay, and then the last and third part of this is your, I'm gonna call it community involvement, how you interact with others. There's a couple different ways. So easiest is if you're on set, anybody that you talk to, and I'm talking above you, below you, laterally, they all can serve as a function where you have a beneficial relationship. Not a one way, you hire me next time. Not like that. People can smell that immediately and it's just not mutually beneficial. But if you look for ways that you can help them, I can help you, then it becomes a relationship that they want to revisit. And if they want to revisit it, then you're top of mind. And that is quite possibly the most important thing when a client is thinking of who they're going to hire. It's who's top of mind. You can do that by having great relationships with them. You can do that by marketing yourself so well for that one thing that whenever anybody thinks of that one thing, they think of you. That is the superpower of marketing. You know, like when you go to a restaurant, it's can I have a Coke? Not can I have a cola? What colas do you have? And then there are in-person meetings, staying in touch, and mixing with dependable crew. So you'll see a lot in these earlier vlogs where I was having coffee with a lot of people. I guess I still do it. I just don't post it as much, just because I want to kind of preserve those meetings and not YouTube them so much. But meeting up with random people who are volunteering their time to just share time with you, and it's really nice when you can do it with people who are on the same level, but you don't always get that. Sometimes they're a little bit below and sometimes they're above, and you guys are trying to work on either this working relationship or maybe just sharing, chatting. That's one thing that I've gotten from this YouTube position is the amount of communication and information that has been shared to me. I just had a call with Tommy Beal yesterday, and he said, dude, we are so spoiled with the amount of outreach and these nerdy, intricate conversations that we get to have because people see us on YouTube and then they say, oh, you're someone of the same kind. I would love to talk with you about these things that I'm thinking. And I have so many of these people around the US that are, just a text away. I got Tommy Beal in San Francisco. I got Jared Phelps in Dallas, Texas. I got my buddy Adam Kalinowski here in Orlando. And I'm watching every time someone is putting in the work to push themselves out and share their story on YouTube. That's the type of person I want to be around, because that's the type of person I am. And the networking helps so much. Recently, it's been John Waldman, who's a DP in New York. He has some fantastic vlogs. Hopefully, we can get a meetup going there soon. And then that will lead to more connections at that meetup. So any of these in-person type of meets, or just checking in with the crew members and friends that you know, is always a plus. It's never gonna hurt to stay in contact with people. And then the last one, and I want to save this one for last because it's an affiliate partnership, but I didn't want to brand this whole video as a sales pitch. So I joined the Art of Documentary 2 years ago, and I posted on my Instagram. I said, "Is anybody interested in how I get these jobs?" Because one of the ways that I can plug into a community and be around different skill leveled people all over the US is through AOD. Now, I got some of the modules, and they were great. They just weren't for me. I wasn't at that level. I'm not going to say I'm some crazy talented person, but I didn't really need the education and the modules that they had at the time. Now they've added onto it with the cinematic eye and create and earn. But I was blown away at what the community was doing in this private exclusive Facebook that you get lifetime access to. So modules, good, whatever. The Facebook group is where I saw people saying, I need a cam op, I need a PA, I'm in Philly, I need someone in San Diego, I'm coming there for a shoot, who has lights that I can rent? All of these inquiries and hiring situations, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, no one's gatekeeping here. In fact, we're all helping each other out. And that has just snowballed. I've gotten hired from AOD themselves for a shoot up in like St. Augustine area, documentary, exactly the type of stuff that I like to do. And then I've also gotten work from within the group of people saying, we need a DP in Orlando. Or what really is mind-bending is, because I keep sharing all of my jobs on YouTube, other people will recommend me when they see a job in Orlando. Now, talk about passive marketing. Like, that is nuts. I was a cam op for an Australian feature-length documentary that was culminating in Orlando. I would have had no clue this production was happening. But Gabe Strong, who is a guy on YouTube who is making similar type vlogs in Juneau, Alaska, heard about this production company coming down to Orlando, told me, hey, this sounds right up your alley. Just want to send it your way. And then I contacted that company and got hired for 3 days, full rate, really cool documentary. And that stuff happens all the time. That job would have been right behind me and I never would have seen it. But because of the networking that I can have by interacting with a ton of people, it's just like rising tide raises all ships. Like that's the best way I can describe it. And especially when other people are aware that you do what you do. I feel like all of these things that I've said, one of them individually will not make a difference. But by having all of these branches out of a tree, eventually you'll catch something. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say. Multiple prongs, throwing a bunch of seeds out. One of them is going to grow, or this one starts growing, and then this one sprouted, and this one took a year to sprout, and now it's going great. Like that's how it goes. You go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. that happens all the time, especially with Production Hub. So with the Art of Documentary, if you're looking for a community to plug into, this one is nice because it's lifetime access. It's not like you have to pay monthly or yearly and then you get booted out. You're in there for life, which I think is a benefit to them. I know it doesn't help them financially, but to have lifelong members helps them because now you guys are always part of it. It's not a cash grab to, oh, you got to pay your monthly subscription. And then today is the 12th, and it's the last day of their early bird. I think you get up to 35% off depending on which bundle and courses you get. And you get 10% more off if you use my code David10 and you click the link below. It feels weird being like a influencer person, but it's something that I believe in. So I will be very happy to talk about it and share about it because I have the results. You can look at my YouTube page and see, I don't know, I think we're over 150 vlogs over the past 2 years. Just so many gigs, not crazy high level, but jobs that I'm happy to take. Some of them are paying way better than I ever thought, and it's not a flick this switch and everything's better. It's a lot of these things. So that's my kind of like salesman pitch for AOD. It's for people who want to be connected and plugged in, and then I think the early bird ends today or tomorrow. Just don't pay full price for it. Like, get on it, and then if you actually are interested in AOD, just quick run through of like which modules you should get. Module 1 is like if you're just a beginner and you need to get all the technical foundational knowledge down. Module 2 is an enigma because it's specifically if you're working on documentaries, which not a lot of people are. And also, a lot of people think the art of documentary is only about documentary. It's not, but Module 2 is. And I love documentaries. I purchased that one. It has paid off great. But most importantly, the best part of Module 2 is you get these one-on-one calls with the co-founder, Michael Del Monte. You can ask him anything, like literally open book. You could say, what should I charge for this? What do you think of this reel? And a bunch of other people are watching at the same time and they're commenting and they'll give you all this critique. I asked him about this structure that I had for my retainer client. It was so valuable just to hear someone else who had gone through so many retainer relationships and what his view was on mine and how I could improve it. And then, like I said, bunch of people were commenting and I was getting their info, and this is free. I charge for my consultation calls. The Art of Documentary has the free calls in there. It's so valuable. A lot of times I don't even ask questions. I just turn it on and it's a live call and I get to watch who's asking what and just pick up the info from there. And then they have Create and Earn, which is, on an honest note, probably the most valuable because a lot of people know how to make pretty visuals. They know how to work a camera. They don't know how to run a business. That was something that took me a long time and I'm still figuring out and optimizing it. Create and Earn gives you that business structure of whether it's how do I charge or how do I squeeze the most out of this business relationship or client relationship to be able to fulfill their needs above and beyond, but also make it extremely worthwhile to me. Create and Earn is huge. And then if you're like a little higher level than myself, or you aspire to be higher level, the Cinematic Eye is breaking down very curated, polished commercials. I have found a lot of value in that one as well, just to see, oh, what does a 5 to 10 person crew operate like, and how are they able to make these pristine, collection of 10 to 15 images in one day. Much different than the, hey, I'm an event videographer, I run and gun and I capture everything, and if you ask for it, I probably got it. It's the opposite of that. And that is a fun level up, I think, as you go through your career, which I'm starting to scratch that area. And then they have a few more. Overall, AOD has worked really well for me, and it only works if you take advantage of the tools that they provide. If you buy the course and then and then don't watch the modules and don't communicate in the Facebook group, you wasted money. But if you are looking for something else, it's really good. So that's a long-winded version of how I get my clients. And like I said, individually, none of them would satisfy all of the income that I need, but collectively, that is how I'm able to maintain just a normal, very attainable life that's paid with my camera, that camera. And then a quick breakdown of how this video was filmed, in case anybody was interested. Using my B camera A7S III DJI Mic 2s. I really, really like using this camera setup for YouTube rather than how big and bulky the FX6 is. It's just easier. And then also, FX6 does not have this, the Sony monitor and control app. This is fantastic for when, ow, I hit my head on the hair light. This is fantastic for when I need to control via this big iPad instead of kind of trying to look over at this screen and barely seeing anything. I have a 10-inch display with camera control, run, stop, Polar Pro something, 4-stop with a circular polarizer built in, and then the 300C and 60D that are both running off the Sidus Link app that is controlled on my phone. So that's really nice because sitting from here, I can control the camera with the iPad, and then with my phone, I can control the intensity of each of these lights, and I don't have to keep getting up, sitting down, getting up, sitting down. So super simple. I wanted to do a practical, just lighting up the FX6, but I didn't feel like opening up any more cases. And then if you've watched these vlogs, you know that that's where my gear used to be. But now I'm putting it here because I don't like walking in and just seeing gear. This is a 1-bedroom apartment, and my girlfriend is gonna do her nail salon setup over there. Looks much more homey, and all the crap gets put over here. But it's nice because I got all these, and I can just take the cart out and wheel it out when I'm ready to go for a gig.